So what do you do when somebody ditches you to go hang out with somebody else and then you see photos on social media? What should you not put in your washer? And JJ's pride took a hit when his son beat him at what? All of this plus so much more is coming up in the Playhouse podcast with Kat and JJ. All thanks to Bradshaw and Bryant.
Interesting thing happened yesterday. My 17-year-old, who is done with all his classes now, he goes outside and he's like, "Hey, I was gonna, go to the baseball field with my friends, get in a bullpen session, and they had to go somewhere. Do you wanna throw the ball a little?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I don't get to stretch things out with him very often because he's with his friends and he's gonna go off to college and play baseball, and I'm super proud of him. So I go out there, I grab my glove, I grab a baseball, and we start stretching it out down the road. And with my 12-year-old, he'll get so far, and then I'm gonna be like, don't throw harder because it's gonna wreck your arm and stuff like that. And he just kept going back and back, and he would just take a step and then just throw just a rocket like right there. And I'm like, all right, but I've never, me, like I don't back down. And there's something that's in me that says, all right, you can't get beat. And so he's back, and he's in almost the next neighborhood. He's down like 6 houses down, and he's still throwing everything on a line. And I'm getting a little bit more arc on every one of mine. I'm taking an extra 2 or 3 steps and really getting into it. And eventually, I quit. I go, I can't do it anymore.
Why are you doing that to your arm?
My
You're
arm
like
felt like it was
gonna.
felt like it was gonna fall out, and I couldn't believe it. But I go into the house, and my wife goes, "What's wrong?" And I go, "It happened. Today was the day it happened that the 17-year-old beat me at my game."
Yeah,
and I distinctly remember the day that as I was able to bench press more than my dad, that I was faster than my dad, that I could hit a baseball farther than my dad, that I could throw a baseball harder than my dad. I remember all of those key moments in my life, which make me think back now to the only thing I care about is competing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very evident that's
beating your parents.
Elena, do you remember a distinguishing day where you were better than your parents?
Yeah, my mom was a great tennis player back in the day. She actually played at the University of North Dakota.
Okay.
And so my older sister played tennis in high school, and it was around like middle school, early high school-ish. We were at the lake, and my older sister and her were playing, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, can I play with you?" Because I played soccer. Soccer and tennis were at the same time, and I chose soccer, but I used to play tennis when I was younger, and so I was like, "Hey, let me play with you." So we go back and forth, and, we're rallying back and forth, and I kind of realize that I'm obviously faster than my mom. I'm younger, and so I start hitting them toward the line. And so my older sister and little sister are sitting down, and they start counting. They go 15, love, 30, love, So my mom, you can see that she's kind of getting a little upset. Well, she starts hitting them to the line, but I keep hitting them back because I'm fast,
Yeah.
And I end up screwing up, and I hit it up. So it's up in the air. She smashes it down. It hit my face.
She
took me
out.
This is the Fokker thing.
This is
Where he
Meet the
goes
Parents.
and he spikes it and it drills her in the face.
They're in the pool. Yes.
I start bleeding because I get nosebleeds anyway, like just constantly.
Did
so
she do
I'm
this
bleeding.
on purpose because you were winning?
She swore that it wasn't the case, but I was like, yeah, right, Mom.
Yeah,
right.
Listen, as a competitive human, if I could have had a chance to chop my kid down before I knew I was going to lose, I would have. And I should have been smart enough to say, my arm hurts right now. I could beat you, but I can't.
This might have not have been like, I want to hurt, but maybe like a warning shot, like back down, sister. But it ended up going awry.
Put you in your place?
She jumped and she hit with all of her force. I can still see it like to this day.
Do you remember a defining moment in your life where you were better than your parents?
No, because we're completely different people, to be honest with you. Like, there is truth to you want to raise your kids differently than how you were raised.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of similarities that I want to incorporate too. But I don't know. I think I'm more patient than my mom. So maybe I beat her at that. But
She will always beat you at Crocs. You can't win that. Every day we open the show and I go, "Hey, what'd you guys do yesterday?" And every day without fail, Kat tells us how she didn't eat bread and she took her kid out to jump around on the trampoline or go fishing or something like that. And then I turned to young Elena, who acts 109 years old but is really in her mid-20s, exploring youth and what could be next in her life. And she says, "I did some gardening. I cleaned. I organized.
I did some oregano.
Can I get a picture of this garden? Do you have a picture of where you're at with this garden yet? Can I see this?"
Yes.
You should be doing like a before and after.
We just put that together.
Okay,
Can you mind sharing that with all of us?
Yeah.
Can we see that? Yeah. Can you put it on the Playhouse Morning Show page? I would love to see, because again, in my mind, I have bonsai bushes, waterfalls, bamboo walkways.
Small whirlpool.
Am I close?
Nah, not that vibe.
I have like an outdoor kitchen in mind.
Is yours more for utility or beauty? I mean, I know you guys are growing a lot of your own food.
Yeah, so our front yard is our garden, and that's what I have the photo of. Our backyard isn't done yet. We just put down all of the edging.
Yeah.
Oh, that took forever.
Now, did you get the pound-in edging, or did you actually dig it out and level it out?
I had to dig it out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Would you kill me if I just snuck over in the middle of the night and just put some bunny rabbits in your yard?
Oh my gosh, we actually have a squirrel that's trying to get all of our potatoes.
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
They're nuts. This is a squirrel.
All right, I'll give you that one.
All right, so yeah, I really want to take a look at it because I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I have this in my mind, this image of serenity in the backyard where you could just sit there and meditate a little bit,
Drink your morning coffee.
Yeah.
Talk about your day.
Anyways, what'd you do yesterday, Kat?
I went fishing.
I saw that.
But it was for him graduating second grade. He was done yesterday, going on to third. He was
So you didn't
very
give him
excited.
a four-wheeler or an Xbox. You took him fishing.
That is next week. He gets a four-wheeler next week. Early birthday present. But we went to Fleet Farm. I got him his own fishing rod, Star Wars theme. We went and got some
I
bait.
miss that with my kids. I miss having a Wonder Woman fishing rod, and a Spider-Man fishing rod.
I mean, it's pretty sturdy. It was like $17 for the whole getup. Came with a tackle box and everything.
Sure.
And then I got some worms, and we're pulling out of Fleet Farm, and he goes, let me just look at them. Let me just look at the worms, see what they're doing. I go, please don't open the worms in my car. Please don't open the... What? All over my car.
You got little wax worms or night crawlers?
No, I got... they're not wax worms or night crawlers. It's called something else. It's like a... But he's like really happy on the front, even though we're just going to spear him with a hook. Yeah, butt worms. But yeah, just worms all over the inside of my brand new Hot Mom car. So we had to stop, pick up all the worms, vacuum it out. Then we got to
Did you catch anything?
the river. We tried the river in Monticello. Nothing.
River fishing's tough right now.
And then we went to Big Lake. And I think he's working more on technique right now.
Oh, getting the cast out
and
there.
Then he's like, I want to jump in the water. So that distracted him. So he went and did some water stuff. And then we stopped at Coburn's and bought fish. So we could pretend like we caught fish. And I had some crusted salmon. It was delicious.
Good day.
Yeah.
Weird news.
So this 911 phone call came in, and it was pertaining to this plane crash that happened in Miramar, Florida, at a shopping center. Listen to this.
911, what's the address?
This is North Perry Tower. I have an aircraft landing on Pembroke Boulevard, approximately Pembroke and Pines, the Seneca, 2 souls on board.
So he's going to land on the roadway?
Yes, ma'am. He lost an engine, and it looks like he just went down.
Isn't that crazy when they say 2 souls on board? That was like when 9/11 happened. They were like, this many souls were on board. It's just like, oh, the way they say it gives you the chills.
Well, I think somebody that's in the airline community can correct me if I'm wrong, but this started because there was whatever. I just remember hearing this, and I want to say it was like way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
When there was all these hijackings would happen, especially in the Middle East. And what they didn't want to do is, because the hijackers would listen in, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't want the hijackers to know how many kids or women were aboard. Oh. And at one point they would say, we've got 43 adults and 23 children.
Sure.
And the hijackers, they didn't want the hijackers to know.
So do they have consciences or something?
It wasn't,
like,
you got to remember, back in the day, it wasn't about hijackers crashing a plane. It was about hijackers taking the plane to a place where they could get tons of money to release all the hostages. And they knew that women and children were worth more than men, the way the governments looked at them. So I think that's why they say souls now. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive about that.
Interesting. Can you get a little wild with me, please?
Please, I might be able to. How's that?
A 53-year-old turtle from Boston needs a new home. See, I would not turn away a turtle. A turtle is low maintenance. Let him go in the yard. Give him some lettuce. They're
I almost
good.
wiped out on my scooter yesterday because of a turtle.
Really?
I just saw him walking across the road, and I had to do a quick wiggle on the bars.
Yeah, I mean, its owner died from the coronavirus. So 53-year-old Ms. Jennifer is what they call her, had to go to a local shelter. And so now they're taking care of her. She eats fruit salad and dandelions. And shelter staff, they just held a birthday party for Miss Jen when she turned a whole 53 on Wednesday. So I love shelter people.
Depending on how what kind of turtle it is, those things can live to be well past 150, 200 years old.
If you go to Safari North, they're like in their hundreds. It's crazy. But how do you even know that? You know what I mean? Unless you're around 100 years ago. They could be lying. People lie about their age all the time.
Those turtles
lie about their age all the time.
Lying to you.
Yeah, there you go. And that is what's weird.
Matt, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Why does Friday rock, son?
It's my birthday today.
Oh, how old are you?
I'm 29, I believe.
Yeah, I believe. That's a rough start this
Been
morning, or what?
celebrating all night.
Yeah.
Now,
It was a rough night.
we offer up Kat services for spanking. If you want to come through, she'll put a mask on and spank the hell out of you for your birthday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you into
Tell
that?
me
I'm not gentle.
Matt, have a good long weekend, man. Happy birthday, buddy. Elena, Kat, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Is it like a guy, those tire runs? Is he in a tire?
I don't think you're that far off. That's not right, but your mind is in the right direction. Elena, what would you guess that is?
Okay, is it one of those clear balls like a hamster?
Oh, that they do. What do they call Zorbs?
Yeah.
I think they call it. You ever seen those guys go down
The
those
Zorb
giant
contests, yeah.
those giant hills in New Zealand with those things? Those guys. That's seriously bucket list item for me. I really, really want to do that bad, but that's not right. But listen again. I'm gonna play this for you one more time.
Yeah.
You probably did this as a kid, Kat. You were a delinquent.
Sounds happy as can be.
This is a couple of idiots went into a laundromat, put a quarter in a dryer, and then threw a brick in there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a dummy.
This is what happens when you just have too much time in the quarantine. You start doing stuff like this. It just wrecked that laundromat dryer. Other people's problems in the Playhouse. That's what OPP means. Basically, we just want your thoughts on this. We get a lot of DMs, text messages, phone calls, just messages all together about what's going on in your life, and we love to throw it on the radio. Erica, I appreciate your patience and coming on the show. Tell everybody kind of what we know a little bit about, all right?
So yeah, my husband and I asked a couple of friends if they wanted to come over last weekend and have a few beers with us outside, socially distancing and all of that, totally on top of that. They said that they couldn't because they were staying quarantined.
Sure.
So we were like, fine, okay. So then we saw pictures of them hanging out at some other friend's house.
Oh,
okay? And
Dang.
I was so annoyed, and I want to confront them so bad, but my husband says, let it go, don't do anything, just let it go. But I am like, I mean, what do you guys think I should do?
Yes, do it right away. Do it right away. Let us do it.
Listen, honey, I am the queen of this. What happens is
my God.
you go and you like it up, and then you comment below, looks like fun, ! And you leave it like that because that means I see you. And I know what you did, and they'll know instantly.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. It's so stealthy. Okay.
That's very passive-aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah. The other route is just to simply just go, hey, kind of too good for my beer. That's what I would have done.
I don't know.
Too good for my
I don't know if I would ever call them, but do you feel like, would you let us call them and see what their excuse was?
Yeah, I mean, their excuse was we're staying quarantined, but clearly that wasn't the case. It sounds like they're not really interested in hanging out with us anyway, so,
I was going to say, if you're going to let us do this, you have to be prepared that they're never going to talk to you again.
How about this? Think about it for a little bit. If you want us to call it and call them and blow it all up, we'd be happy to do that for you because we're just, here to wreck stuff.
All right. I'll think about it. I'm going to ask my husband, too, because he's been like, path of least resistance, don't do anything. But I think this might be an offer. This might be something that neither of us can pass up.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ. All thanks to Bradshaw and Brian Law Offices seeking justice for the injured. Our next podcast is just around the corner. Have a great day.